If you ask 5 different people what's their favorite streaming service, you're probably going to get 5 different answers. But I don't think anybody would say Apple Plus is the worst streaming service or Apple Plus is the best streaming service. A lot of their TV shows feel, to me, a little bit like Apple products, a little bit machine made. There's something about them that's kind of interchangeable. They're very high end, they're very bougie and expensive, and they look great. The technical aspects are very good, but there's something kind of between us and the characters. Like the characters feel a little chat GPT or scripted by them. There's something interchangeable and machine made about the overall product where it's like we're not really feeling what they're feeling. There's a distance between us and the show, almost like somebody with strong anti-anxiety medication never wanted us to get that close to the actual characters and situations that we're watching. And it doesn't matter what the genre is. On the comedy side, the Big Door Prize and Trying, it's like the Rafe Spall character and the Chris O'Dowd character are basically the same person. Over on the drama side, you feel that way whether it's some pot boiler like it's the Jennifer Garner, The Last Thing He Told Me, or one of the sci-fi shows like Invasion that they've become known for, or one of the espionage shows like Liaison. The basic formula is to take a somewhat bland but international actor from Europe or Australia, put them in a part they're not really right for, and then they'll be like, oh, this will have a global reach. This will reach a global audience. We'll get a big hit out of this. Just the way that they would sell a smartphone is almost the way that they're thinking about it. And so something like Dark Matter, which is science fiction, and Prime Target, which is espionage, these aren't the same show, but yet they follow very similar pacing, plot lines, procedurals. Their opening credits are basically the same opening credits almost. I was like, wait, am I still watching the same show? All their shows are a little bit like this. So even the few that I've liked, like For All Mankind, Little America, The Last Days of Tyler McGray, they've all been good, but I don't think Apple's ever really had a great show until Severance, where it takes that oppressive Apple formula and it completely subverts it. I don't think I've ever seen a corporation put out a show that feels so at odds with their own values before, and that it's satirizing Apple work culture. What the actual innies are doing is so obscure, they can't really tell anybody what they're doing anyway. So even if the people weren't severed, the work is so redacted, it's not like they even really know what they're doing. And the second season finale was so good, it reminded me of an HBO show. I felt like I was watching Max or old-time HBO, which was the best of all, more than I was really watching Apple, because it got me to care so much about these characters and break through every single wall that we have. The severance of the innies and the outies, and of course the innies are an elaborate way for how we deal with ourselves at work. We compartmentalize ourselves. Personality aspects that we can't take into work or we'll get fired. And it shows how that's a soft oppression that corporations get away with all the time. And this was breaking through that. This was ripping off the facade of that and really getting us past that distance. Where scene after scene, we're seeing things that we've been wanting to see for 2 years. Audi Mark and Any Mark having a conversation. And then a brawl that was insane between Mr. Drummond, who's like this James Bond henchman. You know, he looks like some villainous sidekick of a Bond villain, beating the tar out of Mark in the hallway. And then laugh out loud, hilarious deaths, romance, Mark and his Gemma, aka Miss Casey, finally getting together. And you want them to get the hell out of that building and get free and get the hell away from Lumen. Of course, the cliffhanger ends where that doesn't happen, because then there probably wouldn't be a season 3. Like, what could you even do in a final season? And so you know that they have to stretch this out, even though you definitely want Gemma and Mark to get back together and just get free of this insanity. And Any Mark, he has no real future. But this is how people cling on to jobs, even when they really shouldn't, and they should let them go. These jobs that are slowly killing them, the soul sickness of a place that's not good for you. People really, really do not want to go out, and it's like a prisoner who feels more comfortable in jail than outside. They're like, no, I don't want to go out in the world. The world's scary. Him running back into the bowels of that building with a love that can never be and a woman that her Audi's already betrayed him before us. This really isn't what you should be doing. You almost got murdered in the guts of this building, almost strangled to death, and now you're going to go back into danger instead of escaping. That is a metaphor for people that when they leave a job, that's like a death. The person they were at that job no longer exists. And then they go to a different job. Maybe it's the same type of dynamic, or maybe there's somebody totally different, but that's something you can be. But when people retire from a job, they think, oh, all these people that I saw for years and years, I don't see them anymore. And then a few weeks later, it's like I never worked there at all. And so it's almost like you've been erased. That Severance is working on both character level, where you're literally screaming out loud when Dylan finally stood up to Mr. Milchek, the insidious and just pure evil Mr. Milchek and blocked that door with the vending machine, I clapped. I mean, I can't believe the last time I felt this way watching the Apple Plus show. I don't think I ever have. And then also the allegorical dimensions it's working on. I can't wait for season 3, and it made me excited about Apple Plus for once, showing that a rose can get through the concrete every so often.